Hi, my name is Samantha, and today I just want to share with you how I change colors when I do my Tunisian crochet stitch. I just like to call it the Afghan stitch, so I'm just going to say the Afghan stitch. And right here I have in green, I've already done 8 rows of 20 stitches, and now I'm starting on the 9th row. And I've done 5 stitches to begin with, so now I'm going to add another color, and I just use balls of yarn. That's my green ball of yarn, and now I'm going to add some orange. So I'm going to add another color, and I just like to put my yarn that I'm working with, I just like to contain it in a little area. So I'm just going to use this right now. I'm just going to use this little trash can, this little waste basket, and just drop it in there. And the color I'm going to add is the orange, and the current color, I always pick that up from underneath the previous color. So I'm going to take this orange and pick it up from underneath the green. Then I'm just going to pull up a loop of the orange, and then I'm going to leave a little tail, a little bit of a tail, so I can weave that into the back of the Afghan when I'm finished. And I'm just going to take that and I'm going to tie that to my previous color, the green. Just tie that little knot right there. And I'll do 5 stitches. And I'm going to add another color. Now I'm going to add some orange, and I'm just going to drop that ball right in my waste basket with the rest of the yarn. And I'm going to, this is the orange here in my left hand, and the yellow, I'm going to pick that yellow up from underneath the orange. I'm going to pull up that loop, leave a little bit of a tail, about that much. I'm going to tie that to my previous color, which is the orange. I'm going to do 5 stitches of the yellow. And I'm going to add one more color. I'm going to add a pink. I'm going to drop that with the rest of my yarn. And I'm going to pick up this current color, the pink, from underneath the yellow. Bring up a loop. And leave a little tail. Tie it to my previous color, which is yellow. So on this row I have 4 different colors. I have 20 stitches, so I'm doing 5 stitches of each color. Now I'm going to work these colors off. Oh, got a little piece of hair. Work these colors off. That pink. And then when I'm working the colors, when I'm working the yarn off of the hook, I'm going to pick up the current color. I'm going to pick that up from underneath the previous color. So this yellow, I'm not going to pick the yellow up from that way. I'm going to pick it up from underneath the pink, like that. And pull that yellow through, and this little the loop of the pink that's here, that's I don't know how to describe it, that's right here. I'm going to pull that to tighten that. Put that yellow. Then I'm going to pick up the orange from underneath the yellow. Work that first orange off. Now this yellow loop right here, I'm going to pull the tail of that yellow to tighten that until you don't see that. Then I'm going to work off the rest of the orange loops. And then my last 5 stitches is the green. I'm going to pick that green up from underneath that orange. Then I'm going to pull the tail of that orange to tighten that until I don't see that anymore. Then I'm going to work off that rest of that green. Then I'm going to do another row and make a few changes. Of course, whatever you're working on, you're going to follow the pattern. But this time, instead of doing 5 green stitches, I'm going to do 4. Now this orange, I'm going to pick that up from underneath the green. Work that over on top of all of that orange. And I'm going to say, let's say that on this row, I don't need the yellow anymore. I'm finished with the yellow. So, I'm going to cut that yellow off. I'll cut that off, leaving a little tail. And I'm just going to take my yellow out of the waste basket. I'm not going to have that with the rest of the yarn anymore. I'm going to tie that little tail, that little yellow tail to the orange. And I'm going to do three more stitches of the orange on top of the yellow. And then I'm going to pick up the pink. And I'm going to pick up the pink from underneath the orange. And then I'm going to finish that off with the pink, the rest of the row. And then I'm just going to work that off just like I did the previous row. When I'm changing colors, I pick up the current color from underneath that previous color. So now I'm going from pink to orange. So I'm going to pick that orange up from underneath the pink. Work that first loop off and then pull the tail of that pink until that pink disappears. Tighten that. And work off that orange. And then that green. Pick that green up from underneath the orange. Work off that first loop of green and then that orange loop that's loose. I'm going to pull that tail, tighten it. I'm not so sure if I can exactly explain it exactly why that's done, but it's just how I learned, because I learned to do the Afghan stitch years ago. I just checked a book out of the library and that's just what I was taught. But I know it prevents any holes or spaces in your work, and it just keeps it nice and neat. Now on the back you will have all these little pieces of yarn in the back. I've had people ask me, well, what about the back? What do you do with the back? Well, here's an Afghan that I'm working on. It's a very big one. It's a New York Giants Afghan, and it's all done in the Afghan stitch. And the back of this, as you can see on the back of this, I've already weaved in those little the little tails that were sticking out, I just weave them into the afghan on the back. Now further up the afghan, I haven't done it yet. As you can see, this part right here it's got a lot of color changes, so the back of it has a lot of, you know, a lot of tails that's still sticking out. But when I'm finished, then I'll just take my time and weave all that in. Also, if I have, like right here, I carried this black from this row to a few more rows up. Instead of cutting that off, I just kept it attached because it was just a short distance. But some people don't like that, but I don't have a problem with it. It's not, I feel like it's not that big of a distance in between those two colors, so I just leave it attached instead of cutting it off. But it is a matter of preference. Some people make a backing to cover up the back, but I just weave in the tails because it's the back of it. I feel like it's the reverse of it. It's not going to look exactly like the front anyway. And I've made countless blankets, afghans. People love it. They never complain about it. But as I said, it's a matter of preference. That's how I choose to do it. And I always just use balls of yarn. And most of my projects I work on are big projects. So I'll put my yarn in like a big container such as this. And then I just keep my balls of yarn right in there as I'm working on the afghan. And then at the end of the day, or when I'm taking a break, I'll just take my work in progress and just put it in my container until I decide to come back to it. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you for watching.